of each page, there's a number. One is your coordinator page number, and the other is the number of your students. Will tell you what page. So when you go to the questions, you may be on page 163, but you'll tell them to turn in their workbooks to page 103. So your book has the answers all the way through it. It's got a lot of really helpful hints. This is going to be your Bible when you go through financial peace with your group, because it's a wealth of information, and it makes it so easy to facilitate a class. It's really easy.
There's some pointers to bring out at the beginning of the lesson, so you'll have your book that you can take home with you. It won't be left in the kit, but you'll be able to take that home and read up on your next week's lesson, so that you have an idea of what's going on.
Right. And also, if you have questions when you're reading through for your next class, talk to someone who's done a lot of classes. Tim and Peggy are excellent resources. Michelle, us, a lot of us have gone through it and may be able to answer your questions ahead of time.
Okay, things that you don't need to do before the class is go into your class. If we're doing one where if you're doing a class where you meet in here and then you're going into separate rooms, you'll need to maybe set up some tables and chairs. Most rooms are already set up. What we found is when it's a square table and you're sitting around a square table, whoever's on the ends can't see who's talking. And so we like round tables, or take the tables down and just sit in a circle. But that's up to you. That'll be up to your preference on how big your class is and whether or not you can do that.
Your classes are going to tell you. We had some classes that said, do we have to sit at these tables? And then we've had some classes that say, can't we just sit at a table? I need a table to write on. So, let your class kind of dictate how they want to get together, because what they're most comfortable with is what's going to generate the most conversation.
Yep. Okay.
Can I just add real quick on it? Because most of the rooms are set up with 4 tables. But if you take the tables, they're usually in a straight line. But if you take them and move them into a V shape, then everybody can see. It's the best you can do, kind of get it around. But just take them, pull them out like that. So you have a V shape, then everybody, even on the ends, can see everybody else. So very simple fix.
Yeah.
Should we have somewhere, maybe it's somewhere and we haven't seen it yet, but begin and end with prayer?
I thought about that this morning.
Are we going to do that?
Yes.
Even with community members?
Yes.
We should, right?
Yes. Absolutely. Everything we do at St. Michael's begins and ends with prayer. And, the classes are no different. There were a couple times we got started without a prayer. We always were able to end with a prayer, but sometimes, we just and then it was like we're halfway through and it's like, oh, shoot, she's already gone. But put that in your notes, because we didn't put it on the snapshot or on the video, and that's really important. So before you do anything else, write that on your paperwork. Yes?
Becky, the prayer team has made up a prayer for the opening of the class and for the closing of the class.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Perfect. Did everybody hear that? Okay, she said that the prayer team that's working with Empowered has developed a prayer to open the class with and to close the class with. And they're going to have that in the kit that we have in order to do our classes, so that's wonderful.
And so if there are community members, just invite them if they wish to. Please join you in prayer. If not, just take a moment of silence. And be respectful of that.
I just want to say how great that is, because as somebody who led a class and then felt a lot of stress about having to come up with a prayer to say, I just really appreciate that, so thank you. Because that was the scariest part for me.
Way to go, prayer team.
Okay, put out your attendance sheets and name tags. They'll be in the kits. What's important to remember is if you use up the name tags and stuff, the attendance sheets you'll probably want to keep with you in your book, because each class will be different, of course. The name tags, if you see that you're starting to run out on the name tags, the pads, and the pencils, you need to contact the office and let them know so that they're refilled for the next class. Okay. put out a sign for snacks, if that's what if you want to have snacks for your class. We did in every class, and usually it fills up pretty quick when people are willing to bring it. We put the coffee together, and then they bring everything else.
We don't know about the coffee situation. That might be a little bit different. So those kind of details you'll hear about as we firm it up. But right now, we don't know about the coffee thing. But you can have a sign-up sheet for food, snacks.
I don't think the church has enough pots for all of the rooms. So, and set up the video. This you'll only need to worry about this if you're a lead facilitator. By a lead facilitator, what I'm talking about is if your class is meeting in here at the multi-purpose room or in the gathering space or wherever, you'll watch the video together, and then you'll break into your separate rooms. So the lead facilitator will worry about the DVDs then. If you're doing a day class, something like that, then the DVDs will be in your thing. And Josh is going to explain to you a little bit about the technical equipment here when we're all done. So,
Okay. Okay, we already talked a little bit about the snapshot, and Tim already reminded all of us that we need to be legible. During the class, while the video is running, because we usually do the snapshot ahead of time, you'll want to have a calculator with you and add those figures up, so that when the video is done and you get ready to break into your small group, you could show them, in your first snapshot for your first go-round, the combined total of all of us in the room is this amount of money, this is how much debt we have. Give them those figures, because I know they're going to be shocked. We were always shocked at how much debt people had. And then, again, we talked about the envelopes and what to do with that. Fill out the final snapshot when it comes time. I believe that's in class number 9. And again, return the envelope to the parish.
This is going to be really important for the entire parish, because after the first week, we're going to announce how much debt we have as a parish from just the folks who are in Empowered. And that might represent maybe, well, hopefully more, but maybe only 10 or 12% of the parish. And then we'll extrapolate that about how much debt, therefore, we might have as an entire parish. And it's so important for people to be able to see, so that they can say, oh, we need to do something different.
And what's exciting is when we put out the figures when we're all done.
Yeah.
And the reduction in the debt and so forth. So it's really cool. We had a lot of people that didn't fill out the cards correctly or had a lot of questions. And so we kind of made a list here, and you'll see that in your handout. But, you don't want them to include their mortgage debt or bills if they just pay it off, or standard utility bills, monthly utility bills. But you want them to include the second mortgage, auto loan, personal loans, student loans, all those kinds of things. And to be sure and include their credit card balances. Question?
So I'm assuming then that you want us as facilitators to include ours in that as well.
We never did, no. You're just your class members.
Then then for people who are facilitators, how are you going to collect the information about any debt they have?
You're not all out of debt?
we've already collected your information.
So
from
the
when
stuff
you
that
went
we've
through the
done
class.
before, okay.
Yeah.
We're going to combine those as part
Okay.
of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, and then after the class, basically, double check your attendance sheet, make sure everybody got signed up. Get the DVD back and put them back in your pack. And, yeah.
I was just thinking about us not putting our information in there as facilitators now, but like our financial picture has changed substantially since the time we filled out the first card. I think we'd get a truer picture of the debt and stuff if all facilitators filled out a new snapshot card. It'd be like fresh, new information.
But how does that show the change? Do you know what your first card looked like?
No.
See, so I mean, it would be
Yeah.
hard to calculate that change, I think, at this point.
Yeah, we wouldn't know how to take your information out and keep the people that are not facilitated.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see.
We skew the results.
We skew the results. Okay.
Because you've already been counted. Your data has already been counted.
About the credit card debt,
Oh.
it was included in the last slide, the one before this one, to include credit card balances.
Yes.
Yes.
Regarding that, there may be folks who pay at the end of the month or something, the entire amount. So is it considered a balance, or is it as of last payment?
If they're paying it off each month, then it's not a debt, because it's a zero balance at the end of the month, so they wouldn't,
As of last month, no debt.
right. Anything that they didn't get paid off, that's the debt, so.
I want to be very clear about that, because that was a question that came up around.
Maria?
People who already took the class and they'll be taking it, they won't have snapshots in their groups anymore.
You'll just have to go, they'll just have to put their snapshots from beginning to end. I mean, they're going through it a second time.
Just have them on a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Just have them put that information on a sheet of paper, the same information. Because what they're saying is, they will have already, that code, that card that they pull out to turn in, they've used it up already. So this is someone who's taking the class again.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So,
Yeah, just have them put it on a piece of paper.
Right.
We'll get some printed out there.
Yeah, maybe we can get some extra cards. Peggy?
One of the things that we had trouble with in our classes was the people weren't ready. They didn't have all their information. And one of the things I was thinking for this next time that would be helpful for, at least for me, that I was thinking was make sure to look ahead and let people know at the end of that class before this one that it's coming up and that they need to prepare for that. And I know that it is in the homework and but a lot of people just be really clear at the end of that and say, we're gonna take these next week, please make sure.
Yeah, they're done at the second week and the ninth week, so.
We did mention it in one of our classes that's coming up and to start thinking about it because they'll need the information for the following week, so, yeah.
I haven't heard a whole lot of, what the confirmation kids, what the deltas are gonna be. Are we gonna cover that here, or is there gonna be some other explanation for what we're doing?
Somebody else is gonna have to cover it for you
Yeah.
because we don't know.
I'll talk about that with Rachel again.
Yes.
One thing I know that was helpful when we took the class is that the facilitator kind of followed up with an email to everyone in the class reminding them, hey, bring this to your next class, or this is what we're going to cover in the next class. I know that could be done too, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, and we're gonna cover that because one of the things that you wanna do between classes is to touch base with your people. And that's the time that you're gonna remind them of things, you're gonna encourage them, give them kudos for all that they're doing. And that's really important that you do that between each class.
Yeah, when they do or you make up your attendance sheet, I think we'll probably try to make them up for you in advance. But there'll be an area there for them to enter their email. The way that it was done in the past is we were able to go, as coordinators, go online and actually send an email to your class. Because of the way that we're doing it, we're not gonna be able to do that, we don't think.
Should- Yeah.
But it's gonna be important, like I say, to keep in touch with the class. Okay? Okay. Anyway, but return tables and chairs back to the original order and clean up your snacks. Okay, so,
We're gonna have Michelle come up now and talk to you.
no, Paul.
Oh, Paul's
No,
next?
Joshua.